Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us here on the Infinite Prosperity Podcast. My name is Louisa Havers and I help high achievers, entrepreneurs and coaches lift the lid on life and business so that they can live at their highest value. Each episode we will bring you our favourite founders, CEOs and guest experts to share with you their insights and strategies to expand your wealth consciousness, your spiritual leadership and aligned business strategies. We know that living in alignment with your soul's mission is what fulfills you, and we are here to show you how to achieve this in an energetically aligned way. If you haven't already, be sure to claim your free abundance activation in the Akashic Records. Go to louisahavers.com/gift to unlock your abundance activation today. And if you'd like my support in having aligned success in life and business, then contact me at www.louisahavers.com and let's explore together if it's an aligned match. Get ready to live at your highest value and to expand into your next level of money as you elevate and receive more. You create more for others. Righty ho, let's dive into today's episode. Before we dive in, I'd love to give a shout out to our sponsor, Samantha Selby, the astrological energy healer. Samantha helps spiritual entrepreneurs to reveal, heal, and activate their feminine and masculine energy so that they can embed a solid inner wealth and self-value, meaning they enjoy loving, respectful relationships and the freedom to choose what they do with their valuable time and energy. You can check out Sam at samanthaselby.com. Welcome to our Infinite Prosperity Podcast episode on mastering the art of energetics of expansion and contraction. Oh, I love talking about energetics because your energy is a strategy that you can use to do the heavy lifting. I know you know that if you're here. And this is what you can do to be able to really start to enable things to be more easy as you're implementing your business and marketing strategies and how you're showing up for yourself in your world. And there is so much on this topic out there in the personal development space, in the healing space around contraction and expansions. And sometimes we can make ourselves wrong if we feel ourselves going into a contraction. Have you ever had that? Love to know if that has ever come up for you, if you have ever thought that like you're going backwards if you go into a contraction. Does that make sense? And the truth is that all of life is expansion and contraction. This is the rhythm of life. It's there in everything. If you just look around you and how your body is, we have rhythms, how we breathe. In our environment, we have the change of the seasons. We have winter, spring, summer, fall, expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction, the ebb and the flow of the tide. We have day, we have night. This is rhythm, this is balance. And as I was reflecting on this, I read a quote the other day from a book called Within by Dr. Habib Sadeghi, his book Within. And in it, he says, every contraction in life is setting you up for another expansion. It has to. It is the rhythm of life. I just absolutely love this. I just thought it was so great. It really speaks to my perception on expansion and contraction. So if you need permission to acknowledge that you are in a contraction and that it's okay, that the contraction, is when you're in the contraction, you're in the breakthrough and you will move when you're doing the inner work through to the expansion. So this, I'm giving you permission to be able to feel safe, to acknowledge that you're in a contraction and that it's completely normal. Because so often we can be in that space of fearing contractions, we fear being in it, it can trigger all sorts of things, including judgment. And that's one of the toxic trios that I talk about with my clients that really slows down manifesting and sending us down a contraction loop, that spiral that we want to like, oh my God, I've got to get out of this. And of course, as humans, we're craving being in the expansion constantly. So I invite you to consider this, is to think, and in the book Within, Dr. Sadeghi writes, we may think contraction stalls our life progress, but nothing could be further from the truth. The movement of life isn't in either expansion or contraction, but in the momentum generated between the two as they constantly trade places in our lives. Now, I absolutely love this because this is something I've been talking about with my clients around, being in the breakthrough, allowing the feelings, doing the inner work, letting go of the, oh, hang on a second, I'm wrong because I'm not in that expansive space, is to allow the rhythms of life. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, of course, if it's safe to do so. So not if you're driving, obviously, but to bring into your mind's eye a picture of a caterpillar and how a caterpillar moves. And this is the example that the author gives. And I just thought, this is so good. This really gives a visual image of what the message I want to share, which is, if we think about the caterpillar uses the rhythm generated between the two states of expansion and contraction to move forward. And those two states together help the caterpillar get to where he wants to go. Does that make sense? So if the caterpillar was always in contraction or always in expansion, he actually wouldn't move because he'd be stuck. Does that make sense? So I invite you to consider that when we're in a contraction, we're actually we're in the breakthrough. We're experiencing the momentum that is building up as we're going into the breakthrough, because the expansion is on the other side. So the trick is to feel the contraction, to do the inner work, to be able to move through it, to get out onto the other side, to the expansion, which is where we desire to be. And this is what we're going to start diving into next week in our Breakthrough the Money CV Masterclass. So I cannot wait to start diving into this with you. The secret here is, if you really want to have long-lasting change, you have to feel and release the contraction and balance it with expansion. This is what we do with the Helix Method. It gives you the balance of the releasing the contraction and training your nervous system to expansion, so you have that long-lasting change. And we'll dive more deeply into the energetic states of contraction and expansion, so you can understand how your body's intelligence is speaking to you and showing you where you're hitting an upper limit. Think of your upper limit as your tipping point back into a contraction. Does that make sense? So where you are holding limiting beliefs, trapped emotions, memories that hold an energetic charge that are impacting your human Wi-Fi, the energy that you're sending out into the universe saying, could I have some more of this, please? And the beliefs that were created in the spirit of supporting us at a moment in time when it was a coping mechanism, we hold on to these, and these become limiting beliefs that we talk about all the time. And we all hold limiting beliefs. And the thing is the limiting belief will make itself right. It's got a sat nav, if you like, within it. Think of it as it's got its sat nav coordinates. It's like a missile. It will do everything it can to be on target, to protect you, to keep the same thing, even if it's not serving you. The illusion of safety, because it knows with certainty what will happen. And the thing is, this belief will show up in your voice, in your facial expressions, in your conversations with people, in your messaging, in your marketing, in how you're showing up for your business, whether you're prepared for something or not prepared for something, in getting sick after a big influx of cash. It's going to show up. And a common belief that gets triggered as we step into expansion is a version of this. And I'm sure you'll resonate with this, is this essence that somewhere along the line, we're not enough, I'm not enough, or a version of this, not being enough, not having enough, not worthy enough. Does this resonate? And, we pick these beliefs and programs and patterns up from our experiences, our parents' beliefs, genetic beliefs, past lives, the collective level, soul level. So much going on in our energy field, and we're holding all of this in our energetic system, in our human Wi-Fi. And when we have growth that is beyond that default set point of these cluster of beliefs and energies, we will move from expansion back into contraction. This is the rhythm. And I'm finding things all the time. One, I wanted to share this one with you. One came up for me recently as I could feel I was in a contraction. And as I was doing the inner work, I use the Helix method, I do the inner work. And I remembered as a child, and this was not in my conscious awareness before, this was a recent one that came through, was like, oh my word, often hearing, that's enough, Louisa. And my brain had associated this with typically whenever I was having fun, essentially having fun. So in other words, being a kid, running around, being noisy, laughing, playing, probably making a mess, all the things that we love to do as children, having fun. And so my nervous system had calibrated to having just enough rest and relaxation, just enough fun. Essentially, stop it, don't have more fun. And this was linked in with it, is you're being naughty if you're having more fun. So just don't be too much. Does that make sense? And so this core belief from childhood, like a missile on target to keep me in alignment with that. And what I'd noticed, so how I'd noticed it showing up in the current state, was that I was getting restless, having enough rest and relaxation. So I would say I've had enough rest and relaxation, but it wasn't really enough. I'd allowed myself to have more time, but the body was getting restless. That makes sense. So I was like, why am I jumping up to go and do something I don't actually need to do? I can rest. I've created this time to rest. But I was paying attention to what my body was doing. I was like, okay, this is feedback. Body, what are you telling me? What's going on? And so I released this contraction held within me and really allowed myself to feel it, to go deep, so that it would actually leave my energy field, and then to be able to move into what my higher self really wants to experience, which is, yes, let's enjoy the rest and relaxation and really allow ourselves to have it. Let's have more fun. To be in the energy of more than enough. How much good can I handle? So let's honor the rhythm of contraction and expansion, and that when we're in the contraction and doing the inner work, taking the aligned action, we're actually in the breakthrough. We're experiencing that breakthrough moment because we're moving forward like the caterpillar, and we will step into that next expansion. I hope that resonates. And to really help explore this further, I invite you just to take a moment and consider the last time that you were feeling resistance, feeling that contraction in your business, feeling fear in your business, feeling, whatever the emotion may be, whether it was feeling of failure because something hadn't worked out as you had hoped it would be, or shame or guilt or frustration. I invite you to recall this into your mind's eye, and then just to notice where you're feeling this in your body. This is your body feeling the contraction. And sometimes, people will say, oh, I can feel it in my chest, or I feel it in my tummy. I feel like a hard bolt in my tummy, or a pressure in my head, or it might get hot, cold, body temperature changes, mouth goes dry, all the things kick off. And if you just bring yourself back to that memory, that emotion, those sensations in your body, can you imagine trying to be the powerful, multidimensional being, co-creator from this place? And creating and manifesting from that energetic space. Because when we're in contraction, our nervous system is triggered, our fight, flight, freeze, and fawn response has kicked off. And we feel, that there's a fear for our safety ultimately. If we allow more money in, we might die. The nervous system has been completely, triggered. And energetically, when we're in a resistant energetic state or a reversed energetic state, that's where we feel like it's going the wrong way. That's energetically what the contraction is. And as we try to resist the contraction, we create more resistance. That makes sense. So if we push against it, we're creating more push. What we resist persists. And what we push against is going to just create more push. So what we need to do is, this is our invitation to lean in, to go deep on the inner work, so that we can actually feel it expand our nervous system's capacity, to expand our energy, to increase our capacity for more. And then the flip side of that is just to invite you to think, well, how do you feel when you're in flow or expansion? How do you know that that's the energetic state that you're in? You feel on top of the world, everything's going right, you're downloading life-changing work in a nanosecond, everything just feels effortless, sales are flowing in, your relationships are thriving, you're in that open and trusting space. And this is the key thing to remember, is actually our body's natural state is to be relaxed, to be open, to be trusting. The thing is that beyond our conscious awareness, in our energetic frequency, our thoughts, feelings from childhood, internal security, insecurities, traumas, limiting beliefs, the stress of the experiences that we've had along our lifespan, they're all held as a memory in the body where the subconscious lives. And that they're all creating contraction. So whilst our mind might not actually remember, your body does. And your body's intelligence will do everything to avoid triggering this wound in your nervous system to keep you safe. So if we think about anywhere there's any beliefs or memories of not being enough, memories of being judged for being too much, that belief, that I'm not enough belief, gets entangled into experiences in the now moment, where we've been feeling perhaps we've been taking up too much time, taking up too much space, we are not enough, triggering the nervous system. So these are then energetically linked in with the original contraction. And so this is then how we subconsciously will avoid situations that our brain is going to anticipate that we'll create that experience again. And often it's not true, but the brain's like, no, we're going to avoid that. And we have a biochemical feedback loop. And what happens is our bodies then repeat the experience even without the trigger. So we can go down that loop, and the cells get used to feeling a certain way. So we think we're avoiding one thing, we're actually recreating a sensation that our body is addicted to. And this could be, anxiety, stress, disappointment, frustration. And so then it's going to seek out situations that will keep recreating that experience. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So that's where people can often say, do you know what, I just feel really stuck. It's like I'm going around this loop, and your body is, where you're recreating that consistency in that experience of the emotions and the feelings that feel like they're keeping you in that contraction state. If that makes sense. So my invitation to you is to think, are you operating from contraction or expansion? And of course, you will flow between the two. Are you in contraction or expansion more of the time? And a quick hack that you can use is to support you when you're making decisions, is to think, am I contracted or am I expanded now? How would my future self make this decision? This is really key, because if we make decisions from a contracted place, so if we think of it being fear behind it, we're going to create more of the same outcome, creating more holding patterns to repeat more of the frustrations and all the things. Whereas if we're feeling expanded and we're making a decision from an expanded place, we will create different outcomes. Just to give you an example, if we think about, let's take the example of hiring your next team member. If you're hiring your next team member from a contracted place, perhaps you're feeling overextended and fearful, that is very different to hiring a team member from an expansive place. So I'm just so excited to have more support on the team. We're ready. The energy behind the decision is going to energetically leverage different results. So I'd love to invite you to kickstart your next expansion, because we're going to be diving into all of this next week in our Breakthrough the Money Ceiling Masterclass. We are gifting some free spots, so we'd love to invite you to claim one. We'll pop the link below this recording so that you can come and check it out and claim your free spot. You are going to discover how to 10x your manifesting results without working harder, without frazzling your nervous system or coming up against your stuff. You're going to be experiencing our Helix Method manifesting ritual. This is my tried and tested method that works consistently, and I will show you how to make it work for you so that you can rapidly increase and hold your next level of money. You'll receive coaching via 5 powerful masterclasses, and they are truly powerful. This is going to be the 16th time that we have run this event, so I'm so excited. Everybody absolutely loves it. So I cannot wait for you to come and join us for this. So you are going to be expanding the capacity of your nervous system to receive more money so that you are able to trust yourself and to feel fully self-expressed in all areas of your life. So, and you'll be able to feel safe to allow more in as you expand your capacity and to grow towards that self-actualization, your highest timeline. So it's time to say goodbye to any roller coaster months where we're feeling like it's contraction and expansion and it's playing havoc with the nervous system. We're going to be able to move through the rhythm of life in a more effortless, aligned way so that you have the results that you desire in life. And you'll experience the wisdom available to you with your Akashic records so that you'll be receiving an Akashic record activation as well, so you can live at your highest value, feel fully supported, and have more time to enjoy the quantum leaps with your money. So a question for you is just to kind of do that self-check is, am I in a contraction? Am I in an expansion? Am I ready to expand even more? Is your nervous system feeling at capacity? How do you know that when you look around you in your reality? Are you hitting an upper limit and wondering, what can I do about it? And are you ready to make your income ceiling your new floor? We would love to show you how. And we have our Breakthrough the Money Ceiling Masterclass coming up. So I'll pop the link below in the below this recording so that you can come and join us. And I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode. I hope you're able to join us in our newest masterclass. We're going to be doing some energy psychology work together with the Helix Method, and you will receive an Akashic record activation as well. Alrighty, I will see you all there. Sending you all lots and lots of love. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the Infinite Prosperity Podcast. And if you like what you've heard and want to know more, please go to louisahavers.com. We just appreciate you so much. So thank you for listening and hanging out with us. If there's anything that we can do for you, you can email us at louisa@louisahavers.com. Let my team know if you have any ideas for shows that you'd love to hear or topics you want me to talk about. Really looking forward to hearing from you. All right, that is it for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for today. Looking forward to connecting with you again. Until next time, namaste.